Man, I was having so much trouble getting this live stream started today because I just upgraded my YouTube, but looks like the stream is working. I think it's working. Are we live? Oh, thank God. Silosis, good to see you in, man. Yo, what's up, Miguel? Just getting situated here, man. I had no idea if I was going to be able to stream tonight because I had to redo my whole stream key. Had to like re-verify my YouTube account and stuff. But yeah. It's one of them. It's a Wednesday night live. You don't even know what day it is, Miguel. But maybe it's Thursday where you are, man. Maybe you know, on a planet Neptune or wherever you're from, man. Maybe it's Thursday. It's good to have you guys in, man. So I didn't even alert the Discords. Let me like alert people. Let people pour in real quick. Because when people join late, they always ask me everything I say in the beginning. Let's just plan on starting in 4 minutes here on the hour. We're gonna get started on the hour. I see the gang pouring in. I see you guys pouring in. What's up, ARAM? What's up, Future? Minnie Mouse Mining House or whatever. Can you guys hear me? My mic should be working. Yeah, I was just chilling at the beginning, man, because I need people to pour in. I gotta make sure that there's enough people in here for me to start yapping. You know what I'm saying? But on the hour in 2 minutes here, I'd say we give it 2 minutes and then we'll get going. But I really appreciate you guys coming out tonight, showing up. It's the Wednesday midweek roundup. We're going to talk about how cryptos are doing around their monthly VWAPs. How is the month of October? How are we doing? There's big trades that I'm sitting on my hands kind of waiting to see if my entry presents itself. The last like 2 weeks of trading for me were insane. Look at these breakout leaderboards, guys. I'm a top 25 trader on breakout this month. Almost 10K. One more payout. I just need to get one more little payout, and I'll break that 10K threshold, which is crazy. 10% in a month is crazy, and it's like not even halfway through. Although, so when I compare the volume though, my volume is rank 91. So even though I'm the 24th best trader, I'm like only in the top 100 of volume. That means my trades are very efficient. To go further with less volume. It could also mean that these other guys are fully funded. They may have the full 200K funding, whereas I only have 100K. So these guys are, you know, these guys are probably fully funded with the full 200K from Breakout, and they're just hammering it on 2 accounts with like a good strategy that works. But now these results are kind of crazy that these guys are getting. Like they have some sort of serious edge that they're just willing to gamble on, basically. I mean, I would have to see the trades. Like I want to find them on Twitter and like see what these guys are doing, because yeah, man, getting 50%, growing the account 50% on low leverage a week into the month is pretty crazy. So hats off to these chads here on the leaderboard doing better than me. Silosis asks a question, how much does the payout usually work? Like if you make 10K, how much are you able to withdraw? Yeah, it's 90-10 if you click the button. I think it's 80-20 if you don't like pay a little extra for it. And ARAM says he knows Sith Trader and Altcoin Alf from the Breakout DC group. They use 200K. Some of them are active in the Breakout trading chats. Got you. Okay. I'm gonna have to hang out in there then, man. I definitely belong in there. Yeah. I got kind of like a little bit chopped up today targeting this high right here. So I got no trades. Basically that like I tried longing and it got stopped out, and that's really all that happened today. And it was a stupid long because it was a long that I wanted to catch this entry for a short. The real trade was the short, but I was being impatient and I was like, I want to enter the trade now, so I'll just trade up to my entry. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes we don't go and take liquidity. Sometimes we just start moving right where we want to go, which in this case for Fartcoin, it's probably yesterday's VWAP. It's probably a, oh look, there we are, a daily leapfrog. Yep. So yeah, I was hoping for a liquidity sweep here and then a larger move down, which included the daily leap, but it looks like we're just rushing into that daily leap right away on Fart. On Bitcoin, you know, struggling around a sideways month-to-date VWAP, fallen under the 5-day trend. We've lost the week-to-date. In fact, this week in general has not been a positive week for Bitcoin as of yet. And every day that we lollygag around in this sideways range, the 5-day trend flattens out. So it's actually, things aren't really like looking that good for me in the short term. I'm pretty bearish in the short term. Money flow pouring out here on Bitcoin on some of these middle time frames. It's in a bit of a tough spot for me, guys, because the 5-day MA is still kind of rising, but it is flattening out. So the environment is kind of like an indecisive type of environment. But what clues me into like downside is like when I look at Fartcoin, And I look at this long up to the Q4 VWAP that a lot of traders took. Basically, at the start of Q4, this is an overcrowded trade that a lot of traders took on Fartcoin. Basically, we're not going to go down to the low. We're going to go up to $1. That's what everyone was thinking Fartcoin was going to do. But the problem is, you know, we get this run up going into Q4, and we get this eagerness to go up to $1 a little bit too quick. And unfortunately, we leave this low here. And so, like, going into Q4, you know, we get up to this point where now maybe there's some whales who do think that Fartcoin is going to $1. You know, they come in and they're thinking, what price do I want to get Fartcoin at? And it is down here at this low. So we get a new quarter, we take last quarter's low, and then we return to the Q3 VWAP. So this overcrowded trade might get stopped out, and the real trade, the real long on Fart, is probably going to look something like this. And I'm not saying altcoin it's not even like a postponing. There's no narrative. It's just the charts doing their thing. So I wouldn't even say, oh, alt season is postponed, because that gets you into the mode of like not looking for opportunity. So, you know, alt season, you know, when the prices are low, this is when you want to be thinking about buying some altcoins. So for me personally, now that we've got this new quarter and we've revealed the idea that we do want to trade back up to $1 on Fartcoin, I have to be patient for this entry down here. Basically, the previous quarterly low getting taken, and that would then be the most advantageous long position. If you had $1 million and you had to crank the leverage up to 10x and put it on Fart, that's like the only play you could take. You have to wait for all these people to get wiped out. Like, you can't FOMO into this thing late. So, you know, when the stakes are high, you got to be picky with your macro entry. Not to say that I didn't come in. You guys saw me come in and slice and dice this trade. I was one of the earliest ones to this trade. And I was on Twitter searching like Fartcoin, and the posts started coming in. All these analysts all of a sudden talking about how Fartcoin is looking insane, and like they were pointing out head and shoulders and necklines and how it looks good. But and that was all the way up until this day right here. We're hitting like 75 cents and people are still bull posting. But then we got that weekly leapfrog, guys. So in the VIP, there was a lot of great trades taken while I was in New Jersey. We were just slicing and dicing, man. I mean, we were doing moves on Aster. I'm trying to remember. Okay, I went to New Jersey on the 2nd. Yeah, okay, so it was on like the 4th where I was prepping for that bearish weekly leap, which we did end up getting. Oh yeah, this was the cooker post. Okay, here we go. So at this point on the chart on Fart, we were like right here at this little low. It was looking not that good. It had dumped quite a bit. And, you know, it's down there. You get the new week, and it looks like it wants to dump back to last week's VWAP. Let me enable that real quick. It looks like it wants to revisit this line right here, last week's VWAP, but we had that rising 5-day uptrend, and we had this weekly, the Sunday high that got left. And so I put out this post. We're looking for the C setup. A C setup is when we sweep the previous session's high or low and then go back to the last week's VWAP. So I was telling you guys, like, I believed in that C setup, which implies a long up to that point. And so I'm like at this mic fight in this long. I think I was in a long. I'm pretty sure I just caught this long. Like, I just entered some longs down here, and I basically just caught this right here. But then I caught the dump after, because this was the pre-trade. This was the trade that only gets generated because we are so sure in this trade right here. You know what I'm saying? So if you anticipate that C setup and you're patient for it, that saves you a lot of trouble with the leapfrog, taking a leapfrog trade. If you think that the price can go back to the last week's VWAP, that's fine. It probably is going to go back there, but it's like, how does it get back there? And if you target the Sunday high for that Monday candle short, it usually plays out pretty good. Like, that's how I've gotten a majority of my payouts. Yeah, I was hitting this every direction. I was hitting longs on the way up. We got the channel breakdown, shorts on the way down. I had a second breakout payout. I shorted Murad's fucking shit coin, that SPX coin. And now here we are today. So in the last week, last like 2 weeks, I turned like a $3,000 investment into like $20,000. So I had to cash out and pay myself. That money is not on the exchange anymore. Make sure you guys are taking those winnings and putting it in the piggy bank. But you know, after like a nice week like that, it's tough to like get back into the charts and be like, all right, I'm gonna keep murdering it. You know what I mean? The pressure's on, the expectations are high. But I did show you guys what I was seeing today, which is BNB had this big bearish leapfrog, a lagging bearish leapfrog. See BNB overperforming, doing really good here. It's in a nice 5-day uptrend. It's just very far from the previous week to date VWAP. And that retest comes with implications. If we go down there, then you lose the monthly VWAP, and the monthly leap, the bearish monthly leap, and the quarterly leap all look more attractive. So there's shorts of all kinds brooding on this BNB chart. And so at that point, we were hanging over the daily VWAP. So what are we looking like right now on BNB? Well, you can see that from that point, we have lost the daily VWAPs. Now we are underneath, we've lost the weekly VWAP. So this to me implies an intention to go back down here. And if that happens, then you have a larger case to go down lower from there. But you take it one step at a time, because you're dumping into a rising 5-day MA. Do you FOMO in already though? I don't know. I don't think so. I think you could have FOMO'd in when I dropped that analysis earlier, but it's really hard not to target like yesterday's highs. You know, it's like you kind of want to wait for some people to get stopped out to even like think about jumping in on this late. If somehow like it reclaims the week to date, it showed an intention to go down, which is nice. But now that big players are thinking, okay, BNB is going down, what's the price I want to get for that idea? And it's up here. It's at one of these highs. you know? So it's just something like this is like something in the next like maybe overnight or something. If this happens, I might hop into something like that. Chicken Salt asks, have you got a video that summarizes the leapfrog concept? I've got a ton of them, man. Like if you just go to the videos, not the streams, but the videos, you'll see tutorials. Also, when you buy Leapfrog, there's a VWAP tutorial section. So it's a little more organized. You don't have to like go hunting. But I should have, you're right, I should have like on my Empowered Traders website here. I need to pump this with videos. I need to pump this with you know, I could do a lot better here, man. You could come on this and it could be my face introducing you to the Leapfrog. Zoinked asks, isn't Face long right now, or are you just playing for the short after? Me and my brother are two different people, man. Like he's doing his thing, I'm doing mine. So I mean, we chat a lot on Discord, but if he followed everything I was doing, he's tried and he's lost money, and it goes both ways. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do my own thing, man. I don't trade another man's ideas, which I don't have any animosity towards like you guys trading or using my ideas. That's why we're here, you know, but it's like take it with a grain of salt, and you guys got to have your own plan of action at the end of the day. So like my brother isn't looking at VWAPs like I am. So it's just different, you know? So I'm going to be eyeballing like levels down here potentially. You know, Bitcoin itself, I mean, look at Bitcoin on the daily, having taken this high and then now displaying a little bit of daily Heikin-Ashi weakness here. It's a little bit worrisome for Bitcoin. Not that Bitcoin is even going to dump that hard, but if Bitcoin just like did this and then went up like that, like altcoins kind of get obliterated. So like if I go on Fart, that probably coincides with like Fartcoin's previous monthly low getting taken. It doesn't, and so at that point, then everybody will be like, oh, alt season is postponed. But at that exact moment, you now have the most advantaged long entry back to $1 for Fartcoin right there. So, I mean, it might wick a little lower. It might, you know, it might wick down to this 40, anywhere from 40 to 50 cents on Fart is like major spot acquisition territory. Like, it's like it's not a guarantee. It's not, nothing's a guarantee, but you could use no leverage at all, and like if it goes to $1, you just doubled your money. Looking at Ethereum daily chart, money flow pouring out a bit, showing some fresh signs of weakness here. How are we looking around that monthly VWAP? Look at this kind of breakdown, you know, kind of retest and then reconfirmation of that month to date, losing that. Little bit of a scary place to be underneath all these VWAPs here. Looks like it's fighting to get this reclaim back over last week's VWAP, but yeah, under 2 weeks VWAP is a bad place to be. So this is what bulls want to see, is an attempt of a reclaim, to reclaim the daily VWAPs and the monthly VWAP here on ETH, because being under this region here is pretty damn bearish. So, you know, if you can get over that, you reclaim the monthly VWAP 4,500. 4,500 is just an important level. But man, I mean, look at that 5-day trend on ETH. You know, it was coming up. Now it's sideways. And, you know, it could reclaim, but a lot of times, especially after a large bearish weekly leap like this, a lot of times the next environment of that 5-day trend is a downtrend. So you find yourselves as traders in this conundrum where, you know, things are looking a little bearish, but what do you want to short a low? This is why you got to kind of see these things happening. We're pumping over the weekend. We're making these highs like this. And we create a Sunday high. Now we sell off. We sell off into the new week because there's de-risking going on. If you had a $10 million long position and you see this dumping down, you don't want to be holding that going into the new weekly candle. You wouldn't want to. Neither would the whale guy. But the problem is now that short trade is easy. It's an easy target for the new weekly session. So see, you enter this trade and you're closing your longs because you don't want to take the brunt of a weekly correction going into Monday. But the problem is then the new session begins and then all the whales are like, all right, well, we know we want to go down. We're going to come down to this orange line down here. What's the best price for that? It's the stop loss of these people. So, you know, that's the real trade. If you wait for that new session to begin, a better trade reveals itself. And, you know, this is the trade that you trim and shave your profits. And ideally, you know, there's some that you've let ride and you still have a short from up here where if this does break down under 2 weekly VWAPs, you know, that's your entry up here. So it's tricky to get a short entry when you're already down here. So you have to kind of anticipate these moves ahead of time at the transition of the weekly period. Get yourself a good entry just in case it is that reversal. But there was a little bit of like micro ability. You could have gotten into this little downtrend here off this 5-day MA resistance tap. Little bit of bear div, price coming up, oscillators flattening out, money flow overall declining there. It's just not something I personally would have nibbled on. Knowing that waiting for like a new weekly session, it generates these amazing weekly sized levels that you can take and then trust. Makes you kind of think twice about like just betting the farm on some middle of the week stuff. Looking at SUI here. SUI rejecting from its month-to-date VWAP in a 5-day downtrend. Not a good place to be for SUI. A lot of coins. That's why the name of the stream is are cryptos losing their month-to-dates? It definitely looks like that is the case. Look at XRP here coming out amazingly. Great start to the quarter. And then we go flat and now it's down. Now the 5-day trend is down. Think about how like we don't even see this yesterday's high. The new daily VWAP comes and we don't like take that high then go down. We're just going straight down. It's bearish. This is very bearish. Let me look at Bitcoin dominance real quick. So Bitcoin dominance, guys, is breaking out over like all VWAPs, and it's in a 5-day uptrend. See this strong 5-day uptrend in the background that it's in? So what's happening here is like cryptos are dumping a bit, but what's really happening is Bitcoin is absorbing market cap from these shit coins. And so if you're going to short something, short an altcoin, even though Bitcoin will likely come down as well. But Bitcoin overall is kind of slurping up the market cap right now. So yeah, if you're going to short something, maybe short Ripple or ETH, or I don't know. But for me personally, there is this BNB. This BNB still looks like a good short right here. I might look for an entry on this guy, but I think my plan is to kind of play it cool until Sunday, see if my bearishness gets affirmed, and we do get that larger correction, because I believe that the end of that, like once that correction is done and settled, it's like off to the races from there, and it's like we really are going to get a bullish Q4. Ricky Spanish in the house wants me to look at USD dominance. Yeah, so dominance kind of looks like it's neutralized that 5-day downtrend, and it potentially, you know, it's got a bullish weekly leap. It's kind of an inverse of a lot of those crypto charts. It's looking kind of bullish, like it wants to maybe retest the weekly open, last week's open, or the Q2 VWAP, or something up here. So yeah, things are a little bit bearish, but I would say that if there is a dump and we go into next week far from this week's VWAP, I think that that is a good long setup. I think that if Fartcoin is like, if it takes the monthly open, or even better, last month's low, it's hard for me not to be bullish on that, you know? So, and I'm bullish on BNB as well. But what we're seeing here, folks, is just a simply, like, we need to understand that these weekly VWAPs, this is just a medium term move. So this is a minor correction that we're looking at if it just goes down like 9%, which is a large move. So if you're over leveraged, or if you just bought some BNB, if this minor little weekly scale move happens, it may rock you a little bit, but it's like an inconsequential kind of, you know, like you should get ready for this to dump to as low as $920 and still be bullish on it, because it's just come so far up, you know? So right now BNB's got this strong 5-day uptrend, man. If I was in a short on it right now, I still would probably take my short profits at the month to date at that 5 MA. I wouldn't, even though you know, macro wise it could maybe go lower, I would have to see that first. I would have to see us losing those 2 weekly VWAPs and turning that 5-day trend down. But sometimes I think about big charts like this correcting, but you just got to take it one level at a time. All right, let's look at Solana here. Solana also getting a rejection off that month to date. 5-day downtrend affirmed. Look at the short on that. Jeez, I should have just shorted these 5-day downtrends, man. I lost like $1,000 on my Bybit account and $1,000 on my Breakout account, kind of just flopping and groping earlier today, when I should have just shorted this 5-day downtrend. So I don't even want to enter a new trade. I want to just wait for the new. I just want to see what happens. And it's too late for me on this, man. I'm not entering some shit. Three 1 hour Heikenashis into the trend. I'm freaking cooked. So I gotta just wait for a reaction. I gotta see this low get taken catch a long from there. You know, it's like this Solana's got to dump down, man. Potentially even to the monthly open. If you're trying to play it safe, you know, if you're on low leverage, like just wait for these 5-day uptrends to reestablish themselves. Cause yeah, I think Jerome Powell's speaking tomorrow as well. Is that true? I think Jerome Powell's speaking. So he could say anything and nuke the chart. He'll say 3 words and nuke the chart. Let's take a look at Chainlink here. How's Chainlink doing? The hell am I looking at, man? This is just stuck in this VWAP gulag. All these VWAPs are all at the same level. That's why I don't look at Link, man. What is this shit? Kind of just breakout retested this structure back here. I don't know, man. Catching up on the chat. Well, when nature says time to accumulate, yeah, man, I think that we're not at the point where I would be like super duper macro concerned. I still think that Q4 is bullish, but it's like, what does that mean? You know, once Q4 begins, the whales are giving us the prices that they want to buy at. And if we ignore them and pump the prices anyways, should we be surprised when we lose the month-to-date VWAP? This happens every single year. I mean, you guys have been trading for years now, and you know how Q4s go. It starts off with everybody's talking about Uptober, and everybody's super bullish on Q4, and October is just supposed to pump. Right on October 1st, it's supposed to giga pump and send, and we never go back to that level ever again. That's what people expect. And last year there was a dump at the start of Q4, and then we pumped, and so that threw people off. But this year is almost more nefarious because the people are given what they want. We get October 1 and we do pump. But we pump and we leave these lows. We leave this shit behind. We're too eager to get out of that downtrend. We didn't even wait for the new session. So it's like, look at all, there's definitely just tons and tons of long orders down here. There's no way it's going back down there again. That's what traders think. So it's our fear of missing out that causes us to pile into positions that are ultimately doomed. Not that we can't profit off them like while they're happening, take our profits and wipe our hands, clean our sushi knives, and reset. That's what we as traders do. But investors who are piling in tend to get disappointed when, you know, last month's low gets taken. It's like, oh, at that point they get so discouraged. It's like, oh, this shit sucks. This is trash. Fartcoin's trash, or, you know, altcoins, alt season's done. But that right there in the moment is the smartest time to long. So a little bit bearish on the cryptos, bullish on Tether, bullish on dominance. So therefore looking for altcoins to dump a little harder than Bitcoin. And that's pretty much my take, guys. So hopefully November is our pump month. If it takes that long, you know, we could reclaim the month-to-date VWAP sometime toward the end of the month, 3rd or 4th week of October. But I'm anticipating like a middle of the month low for cryptos. And hopefully we start scooping up. I mean, hopefully we dump as far as possible, honestly, from this white month to date. However low we get, no matter what chart you're looking at, it's like, let's say we're just way lower. You go into November, and it's just this massive long back up to that October VWAP. So, you know, Q4 has a lot of juice left. Don't get rocked. Don't write off a bullish Q4 just because October people get wrecked. Just because these people get wrecked or these people get wrecked doesn't mean that we can't pump up. So, sheesh, man. Ugh, sorry about that. And so in closing, let me look at Aster real quick. Aster has a unique TA. It's got its own kind of movement, its own 5-day trend. Right now, it's a little bit range bound. Looking at the size of these moves, these are still huge moves that it's making. Right now, we are testing the lifetime VWAP again. So we find ourselves down here at this lifetime VWAP quite often. It's pulled itself. After enjoying a nice 5-day uptrend for a while, it has pulled itself into a 5-day downtrend. So, not much of a long for me. Honestly, it's not much of a long for me quite yet. But you did come and test this low over here. So, you know, I'm leverage trading it. I'm not spot holding it. So for me personally, I would like to see like a lower low. I would like to see this go down to like 140. I always felt like this 150 psychological low was weird. That's why when I was like ham hawking in these longs up here, I was so nervous about this 5-day downtrend. And I was taking profits here, here, here. I was out. I was out quick. Even though it kept going, I had no regrets about getting the hell out of this, because this low, this little double bottom felt kind of weird to me. I felt like it could go a little bit lower, but now that it's under the month-to-date VWAP in a 5-day downtrend, I'm not in a rush to buy the knife on Aster. This actually, I know it sounds stupid, but it needs to come up out of this, come back down, and retest that 5-day trend as support once that 5-day trend is rising up. That's a much better position to actually like enter a trade on Aster to the upside. So if Bitcoin has to cool off and dominance is rising, and also this coin's got unlocks and airdrops and stuff coming in the next week. And so this whole week, anybody who's got Aster is kind of incentivized to dump this thing and wait for an actual bullish weekly leapfrog. Like, see how, you know, we get a new week here and we trend underneath that VWAP, and now we're underneath that VWAP. So we can confidently say that we're having a bad week. You know what I'm saying? So right now it's a bad week for Aster, but maybe next week is a better week. Maybe we find a nice low and a new weekly VWAP comes and we take some liquidity down here, and then you've got a nice ass long. So hopefully we'll catch a move like that on Sunday going into Monday. Until then, trade safe, guys. Don't overtrade. Stick within your Kelly criteria. And make sure you guys smash the likes on the stream. If you guys want any of my services, go to empoweredtraders.com. I'm doing free consultations right now. If you sign up or use any of these links on my website. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys have a good one. I'll catch you on.